Hi, I'm Dr. Amber Bracken. I am the director of MCC's Quality Enhancement Plan, or QEP, known as PASS, or Peer Assisted Student Success.
Hi, I'm Paula Unger. I'm the director of our first Title V grant, and we were awarded in 2020. We're going to update you a little bit today on PASS and Title V. So, Title V is a federal grant from the Department of Education focusing on Hispanic serving institutions, which means that 25% of the student population needs to be Hispanic.
PASS is part of our accreditation through SAC-COC. Now, in the past, SAC-COC required colleges to come up with a new program or project to fulfill the requirements for a QEP. However, in recent years, they've determined that colleges can use some project that's already in progress, already in the works. And so we decided to throw our QEP efforts behind the great work that's already being done through the Title V grant, focusing specifically on our peer leadership program.
I think that's the first time we've ever done that, isn't it, Amber?
It is. This is only our second quality enhancement plan. The first one, which started in 2011, was built from the ground up specifically for the QEP.
I see. And this one, because Title V was such an all-encompassing grant, covered so many parts of campus that we thought instead of having a new program to compete, we could have combined efforts to achieve our goals.
So why don't you tell us a little bit more about Title V?
Title V, one of my favorite topics to talk about. So the Department of Ed's major goal with any Title V grant is to help an institution serve low-income and minority students. Our primary goal, so to achieve that goal, is focusing on our first-year experience. We know that if we can hold on to students for the first year, they're more likely to graduate or transfer, so success is more likely to happen. And to do this, we are also building academic support structures, so through supplemental instruction and through a sense of connection to campus, so through our student life programs, we're trying to achieve our goals.
Yeah, and that sense of connection is so important, right? Because we know that research says that when students feel connected and like they're part of a community, that they're more likely to persist and to ultimately be successful and graduate.
Absolutely. It really underlines the fact that community is part of our name. So we are given $3 million over 5 years, which ends up being about $600,000 a year. And we were part of a relatively few community colleges in Texas that were awarded this Title V grant. There are 50 community colleges in Texas, and we were one of 13. There are 3 major goals to our Title V grant. Our first goal is focusing on the first year, our freshman seminar class, which is known as Learning Framework. We can hold on to them and make that first year experience good, then they're more likely to succeed and ultimately graduate. Our second goal is met through supplemental instruction. This is developing pretty much like study sessions that help students, especially in classes that are hard, and this can improve persistence. And then the last goal is to enhance student life and helping students feel a sense of inclusiveness and belonging to campus.
So what have you accomplished with these Title V efforts so far?
What I'm going to be talking about is the report that I just had to submit to the Department of Education. So this is actually about last year, which is year 3, but we'll get to what's happening now a little bit later in this talk. And so we are measured primarily with some pretty significant metrics. We're supposed to be doing what we said we wanted to do with the grant, but we are measured by looking at graduation rates and retention rates, so that if whatever we're doing isn't affecting those, we are not considered ultimately successful.
So, Paula, what's been accomplished?
Year 3 was a really successful year. We are understanding better how to achieve the success we made this plan for. So we improved our 100% graduation. So this is on-time graduation, whether it be certificate, whether it be an associate's degree. We increased it by 10% in year 3. Our 1.5 time, so this takes a little bit of extra time than what originally is planned or expected. That was increased by 17%. So students are persisting and completing and graduating. Our retention rate increased by 7%. All 3 of these actually achieved or exceeded our goal. So we are doing well.
That is Awesome. Anything else that's been done in year 3?
We increased our number of supplemental instruction leaders. We served more students across more sections of classes and just overall courses that supplemental instruction was included. Our peer mentors, we had 27 across the learning framework classes. We moved our peer mentors. They were accessible to all students taking learning framework classes, and we found this to be an effective way to help all students. And so this is going to be continued, and we found an even better way to do that I'll talk about a little bit later. We piloted open educational resources, which are free resources for our learning framework class, and those are going to be used because the pilots went so well and students and instructors loved it so much that we are going to be using them in the 24 to 25 school year. Student life was also very successful. We had folks on campus taking Spanish classes. We had more visits to our student life center than ever before. 5,500 student visits. We had more activities, more resource fairs. We had Greater Waco Legal Services, which we loved having on our campus. It has now ended, sadly. There were students who used the service, but not as many as we had hoped. So we are reallocating those funds towards mental health. So tell me more about the QEP.
So, like I mentioned, we decided to design our QEP as a way to support the work that was already in progress through Title V. So we sort of discarded or set aside goal 1, but focused more on goals 2 and 3 to provide students with both academic support that they need and that social support that they need. And specifically by having peer leaders provide that academic and social support to help our students be more successful. So here we have our specific goals 1 and 2, again, providing that academic support. And we do that primarily through supplemental instruction and also through our tutoring. Supplemental instruction is a really cool program where a student who has been through a class and was successful in that class and has a rapport or relationship with a professor can be invited to serve as a supplemental instruction leader. And then they host group study sessions for their peers to help get those students across the finish line. And then on the social support side, we're actually finding that the supplemental instruction leaders also serve to develop that sense of community and help students feel a better sense of belonging. But we also have our peer mentors who are engaging with students in activities in the Student Life Center and helping with student orientation and really focusing on building that sense of community.
Yes, we are really building what we wanted with PASS, right?
Exactly. So PASS started in the fall of 2021 when we had our 10-year reaffirmation visit from SAC-COC.
Remind me what PASS stands for again?
That is peer-assisted student success, where we have sort of a peer leadership umbrella that encompasses 3 different types of peer leaders: our supplemental instruction leaders, our peer mentors embedded in the learning framework classes, and our tutors. And so in year 1, we pitched this program to SAC-COC. And then once it was accepted, we started working to bring our 3 different types of peer leaders all together and developed a group training. So all 3 camps of our peer leaders come together 3 times per semester for a standardized group training where they receive training on all of the resources available on campus. So they can refer their student peers to the counseling center, to the food pantry. They can talk about the learning commons, provide information about campus events. So all of our peer leaders are trained and equipped to help their peers utilize all of the wonderful resources that we have available to them.
And sometimes it's just getting the message out, right? We've got so much available, but sometimes even with our messaging, there are some students that don't hear about it.
Right. And that's the beauty of peer leadership, is that students tend to listen to other students.
Oh, exactly. So tell me more.
So in year 2, we implemented the trainings that were created for all 3 types of peer leaders. We had faculty and staff participating in conferences on the state and national level. We continued making improvements to our learning commons. So we have all resources that students could need to be successful in one place. So we have library services, we have our tutors, we have access to tools such as we got new anatomy models. So it's all in one place where students can utilize technology and find help from librarians, from tutors, from everyone on campus who is equipped to help our students.
Oh, that's wonderful news. So tell me a little bit about how students think, what their perceptions of supplemental instruction are.
The feedback has been amazing. Students are loving this. 63% of students who participated in supplemental instruction last year either agreed or strongly agreed that they would even attend if this was not required. They find it helpful. They say that their SI leaders are knowledgeable and help them feel more prepared. And they feel more connected at MCC because of supplemental instruction.
Exactly what we're trying to achieve. So here's some of the numbers, I guess.
Yeah, and you can see from this chart that supplemental instruction has grown semester over semester. We've increased our numbers of supplemental instruction leaders, the courses that they're assisting with, the number of sections of each course. You can see that we've built up to, in the spring of 2023, we had 475 unique students participate in and benefit from supplemental instruction.
And I can see that it has increased every year, so we can expect next year it to be even more.
It has. These numbers, again, are from 22 to 23. We are just wrapping up year 3 of PASS, which is year 4 of Title V, and the numbers have increased since then. So next year you'll see an even bigger increase.
That's wonderful news. So I'll update a little bit because I know you're dying to hear, Amber,
Absolutely.
about what's happening now. So this is year 4 of Title V, year 3 of PASS, and we continue to make progress. We're enhancing the Learning Commons with a maker space, which will be on the second floor. We're converting an old computer lab into a maker space
What
for
is
students.
a maker space?
A maker space is a place that students can go, and some of it can be just on their own, or it can be part of a class where they make things like with 3D printers. We're going to have an engraver. We're going to have pods in there that protect the sound. We're also going to have other equipment like sewing machines that students can use. So that is very exciting. We've been talking about having a maker space for a very long time. We're also going to combine our peer mentors with Upswing. Upswing is a 24/7 software for tutors, but we're going to embed our peer mentors for learning framework so that all students in all classes, in all modalities, so that online students have an easy time. And this is much more streamlined than placing them within their Brightspace shell. So I'm very excited about that. And of course, because it's year 4 of Title V, we are understanding what succeeds and what doesn't in a much clearer way. So our data analysis is moving towards where we're going to be able to determine kind of evidence-based practices and best practices that we can share with Department of Ed and share with other colleges.
Right. And as we share that data with our leadership team, we'll also be starting conversations about institutionalizing the things that are really working well under Title V and PASS. We'll have to look at the data and determine which programs are benefiting the most.
And which positions really need to be institutionalized. At this point, there is no question that the student life positions, our student life coordinator and our student life specialist really need to be institutionalized. We have already pretty much institutionalized our learning framework coordinator. Her position has become a full-time faculty, and so also does the coordinating for that class. And our supplemental instruction position is partially institutionalized now. So that's the big focus on, that will be the big focus on year 5 for Title V. So this is just hitting on the highlights, Amber, as you know, and we've got lots more details that we can share. These are our beautiful staff members. We work so well together. I love our team. If you have any questions about anything related to Title V or to the PASS program, then please don't hesitate to reach out to any one of us. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for learning more about PASS and Title V.
Yes, thanks for joining us, and I look forward to seeing what we accomplish in the coming year.
So long.